Good morning, everybody. Jean-Noel, I work for Airbus corporate jet. Most of the people here knows me as Johnny Christmas, which is my English name. It works very well, especially per aircraft. Okay, that's going to be on a brand new aircraft, a new one, the new Gulfstream, the new Bombardier. I'm going to be easy. I'm going to go on $50,000 US for a recruitment, times 2 pilots, times 2 training a year. That's $200,000 US just on a recruitment training. And I don't even talk about the travel costs. I don't even talk about the initial training. You can do the same thing in Dubai or in Abu Dhabi for a Boeing or an Airbus for $20,000 US. Okay, 20 to 100, 1 to 10. That's how much saving you're going to make when you're talking about the training of the pilots. Another example on the cost is the spare parts. Again, I don't even talk about the availability you can get everywhere. It's just the cost. That's just an example of this windshield screen that happened not long ago here. An Airbus windshield, the parts alone, is going to be below $3,000 US. Okay? A windscreen in a Gulfstream Bombardier Falcon is going to be on $25,000 to $30,000 US. Okay? 1 to 10. 1 to 10. Again, whether it's on the pilot training, whether it's on the spare parts, where on the fact that you don't need engine program, at the end of the day, you might burn more fuel because you have heavier aircraft, but at the end of the day, the operating cost will be very similar to the heavy jets. So you get all the space, you get the saving on the value of the aircraft, the assets, and you don't spend more money here. Okay, that's another strong reason here. But I would say one of the other reasons you want to go for a bigger one is you benefit from the footprint. Okay, that's just one day of operation. You see the night going here of the 320 family. We didn't even put the Boeing ones here. That's you can't see anything anymore. Okay, that gives you an idea. There's more than, if you accumulate Boeing and Airbus hours, there's more than 400 million flying hours experience to get on a plane. 400 million flying hours. Right? That gives you an idea of the reliability you get. With a low maintenance program we can do on a jetliner now, you don't have to touch your aircraft before 4 years. The first C check, okay, on an ACJ or BBJ, the new generation, will be after 4 years. Right? Your aircraft is flying all the time. You don't have to worry about that. You have aircraft availability, you have spare parts availability, you have a low cost. And to be kept in mind here, okay, while the traditional business jet aircraft size become bigger and bigger, at the same time, the ACJ and the BBJ have also increased their range dramatically. So now, out of Dubai or Abu Dhabi, you can fly non-stop to, of course, easily to Europe, London, let's say, but all the way as well to Beijing, or all the way to Sydney. We have the range. We have the range. So if you put that together, look at the value proposition, if you wish, okay? All the aspects together. You get the space, that is obvious. I think most of the people agree about that. We have the cost, the economics together with it. This is a better solutions here. You have the availability of the spare parts of the pilots and the training facility. And you have the footprint to ensure that if ever something happened to your aircraft, you'll be covered here. And you have the range. So tell me, what do you think is best? I don't know if you have time here, maybe we could go through the same questions we had at the beginning to see whether this presentation maybe change perspectives about what is a jetliner here. So please feel free to answer. Well, if you don't answer on the last one here, I'm going to get fired, so just for you to know. That's a true representation here. Thank you. You should see my plate. Take it together with my socks.
I'm only wearing go-go socks. Okay, so the good news. Do you want the good news or the bad news about the poll, first of all? To start with, 10% now agree with none of the reasons, which you did not have the first time. We've got a couple of questions. You talk about the maintenance reliability and how long they can last for. Without needing a shop visit. But there's a question from the room, why can the maintenance schedule of ACJs and BBJs not be adjusted to private aviation needs, such as removing daily or weekly checks? And that is a real hassle. You have to have, if you're flying around, you often have to have an engineer to do the daily checks. If the engineer's ill, the aircraft's on ground for a completely different reason.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, that have changed here now. I mean, today, you don't have any intervention every 10. If you don't fly, you don't need to do any inspection in your aircraft for every 10 days. There's one last item, actually, that needs to be checked, is a part of the tire pressure that we're working on. That needs to be checked every 36 hours. But we're working on that with authorities to push that 36 hours to 10 days here. So that was a true comment here, but we did put in place this low maintenance program, low utilization program here, and now you don't have to touch your aircraft every 10 days. That is something which is in place. And we're working with the authorities to be able, by the 2021, once we get sufficient data, demonstrate the reliability, to send this to 1 month. So eventually, if you don't fly, you always have your pre-flight inspection, of course. If you don't fly, we'll be able, by 2021, to push that check every month. Therefore, you don't need your engineer with you anymore.
Okay. So you've encouraged people to
Answer, yeah.
go for you.
Please.
What about accessibility to certain airports and islands, steep approach airports, difficult airports?
But again, if you look at the performance of the BBJ or the ACJs, both aircraft can land and take off on very short runways. Like we're talking about something like 6,000 feet, okay, with 1,300 meters. So the only constraint you can get on those aircraft is essentially the weight, okay, the pavement limitation you get on the airport. But usually, steep approach, length, width, obstacles here are not an issue with the ACJ. You have 27,000 pound thrust on each engine here, which is capable of lifting 150 people. So if you put 10 people on board here, you're not going to have any problem to take off and land on any airport. The only thing you need to look at is the pavement loading limitation on the airport. Here again, we've got some exceptions here. So if you don't go on a regular basis to some of the airport here, we got example, for example, people flying to Teterboro sometimes on a ACJ or BBJ.
While the value proposition is appealing, what is the average time to resell?
That is a very interesting question. If you look at the average statistics you get on the pre-owned transactions, you've seen some of the ACJ or BBJ has been for sale for 4 or 5 years. Okay, same aircraft are for sale all the time here. But what we see here is potentially a seller which is just want to test the market and see whether somebody is willing to pay the amount of money he's looking for his aircraft here. But as soon as you rightly position your aircraft price, it'll be gone in no time. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, we've seen aircraft gone in less than 3 weeks' time here. We just need to have the right price. It's like for everything else. The fact that there's not such a wide market here, and there's not such a strong demand here, so you might see the aircraft transactions last a long time here. I don't think that's an issue. My only advice here, don't look at A on the market average, because it's not going to be reflected in reality of the market as it's happening now.
I don't know how you do it. Final question, and unless you have any comments or questions in the room. Final question. Here's a nice cheery one. Will stronger compliance rules around the world, I think this is compliance at companies, not kill the airliners for corporate use and just make it a toy?
I mean, it's a very valid question here, I understand. I think that there's a general trend. If you look at history of companies, they used to be, and I talk about business aviation or in general here, they used to be driven in sales. Sales used to be the top man of the company here. Then eventually that shift to finance. Finance was become the big important guy in a company. And now that moved to legal, eventually, and compliance is the latest one. That's the trend we see in large corporations in our company here. And obviously, that is affecting everybody worldwide. So I don't think compliance is a problem. I think compliance actually is a solution here. Because we'll be able to solve some of the aspects of our business we're not very happy with. And we'll see that eventually this is a product that's going to make the difference and not some middleman talking here and hoping to get some money out of the way. So for me, compliance is a strong point. It's going to make that people will make the right decision based on needs and based on the knowledge of the product here.
So the final question is, you've convinced the room, 47% go for all of the above.
Yeah, thank you, I'm a fan.
Which I think is good. Why did you guys just not sell more of them then?
Well, the aviation, I'm not going to learn, teach anybody in this room here, that is a cyclical business here, obviously. We went through down here, and we're going to go through up again. As a matter of fact, we're in up again, as far as we're concerned. There's been some transitions between the current engine option and the new generation engine here. We see the Max coming, we see the Neo coming here. It becomes reality. We deliver the first Max, we deliver the first Neo here. People will see the performance, will see the range of this aircraft, and I'm sure that's going to come back again. In the long run, we're very optimistic. We see that this is going to be a strong demand, and when people will learn more about this value proposition altogether, obviously we'll see more people coming to us.
Okay, sorry, we've got 3 more questions. I did the tough one.
The last.
Okay, last. How does business jet operation compare to airline takeoffs? So I guess it's I think maybe it's utilization, I guess. How much do you see in an ACJ? Do you have, how much of these things flying for?
Well, an airliner has been designed to fly something like 5,000 hours a year. Okay? Usually they fly, in average, slightly less, or more on the 3,500, 4,000 hours a year. Okay? But usually the traditional business jet and the jetliner, the ACJ or VVJ, from the statistic we get, are something between 200 hours to 600 hours. Actually, the charter aircraft flying up to 800 hours, quite a lot here. Especially in the region, actually, they're doing quite well, the aircraft in the region here. So there's a big gap. I mean, 10 years of a business jet operation equivalent to 1 year of a normal airline operation. Well, obviously, that's very different. Yeah. But again, the localization program that put in place both the BBJ or ACJ allow you to address that situation and maintain the aircraft available at the time you care.
Okay. What is the slot position availability like for ACJs? He's got a form here today. He's ready to do you.
Come talk to me. Break. Whether it's ACJ or BBJ again, I mean, the airline success, we have the victims, so to speak, of the success of the airline version here. I mean, we have all sold up to 2026, okay, if you look at the Neo version here. But we'll be able to get some early delivery position for our clients.
Great. And we're getting too many questions now.
I guess it's good news. People are interested.
When you sell, you don't get any return on the investment on the interior.
Well,
okay, next question.
I would say I would recommend you to not to be too fancy or to maximize the chance to resell eventually. But what we see again, there's a misconceived idea on the interior here. There's some typical Middle East configuration where you have a mid cabin rooms, okay? But 80% of the other aircraft, you always have a similar kind of configuration here, with a bedroom at the back, with a shower, the office, lounge, and table in the front here. And actually, apart from the colors and the material you use, which is easy to change on an aircraft, on a bizliner, most of the aircraft got a similar configuration on a private operation, I mean, okay? And it's become not that difficult to resell.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. Actually, no, we can't. I'm being told I can do one more question.
All right.
Okay, we've got someone doubting your data. Does the actual pre-owned transaction prices and time on market support your claims on residual value?
Well, to be fair, I don't have the data, the accurate data for all the BBJs. Excuse me, I wish Rob would be here to support this same position, and I'm sure there's similar data here. But at Airbus, we do follow very closely all our pre-owned transactions, and I can tell you that over the last 30 transactions over the last 5 years, not only it support those data, but actually they are better. But just to be fair, and not to skip people, we're using this common 3 to 5% average annual depreciation here. So yeah, we're very confident about the numbers we are announcing. They even, I would say, pessimistic in sending conservative, sorry.
Royal Jet.
Thank you, Royal Jet.
Not for their bias in any way. When selling an aircraft, how do you advise on management companies? Royal Jet. If they didn't do it.
Well, selling an aircraft is all about addressing the needs of the people here. Whether you talk to the management company, you will focus on whether they're concerned about the operation of the aircraft here and how they should get organized to be able to manage the aircraft here. I understand the weight of the aircraft could scare eventually the people here, but we do have in place some support activities which is dedicated to business aviation here. So you're not going to be lost in the middle of the old Airbus/Boeing world when you're going to get your aircraft under management, right? We have dedicated team both in BBJ and in ACJ to work also for business aviation needs for operators. So we will have some people will be able to address the need of one guy operating one aircraft here, not be lost in all this 1,000 aircraft going from Etihad, for example, or Emirates.
Which is your favourite operator?
You're talking about airline now, or?
Do Airbus still do completions? I think you've sold one now, I think.
Yes. Well, at some point here, back in 2007, there was a strong increase of aircraft sales here, and the bottleneck to deliver the aircraft for the completion center. So at the time, Airbus invested into a completion center we call the ACJC, Airbus Corporate Jet Center. But since this time here, a lot of completion centers have built and came up here to life, and we go to serve the market here. So the completion center was no more the bottleneck of the industry, and we decided to reorganize the ACJC activity to other activities here. So Airbus ACJ do not have a completion center anymore. We're working with approved outfitting companies that we certify here. There's 5 of them.
Any more questions? Oh, we have a question, great. There you go, use that from NASJET.
It's working? Okay, perfect. We operate some Airbus ACJs and NASJET. And we have some owners who are trying to sell, at least one of them, as you may be aware, trying to sell his aircraft. I believe he bought it probably in 2008 for maybe 65 million, something like that. But he's having a real hard time selling it for even 25 million right now. So how can you answer that question? If it depreciates 3% a year, he should be getting at least maybe 46 million, 45 million out of it.
Well, we need to review that specifically here, that case.
I don't mean to be the devil's advocate. But
No, fine, it's fair.
Has it been looked after well?
It's been looked after very well, yes, of course. Yes. Very low hours.
I think it's a break right now, so let's have a conversation about it. Because I don't know, honestly, I think I knew all the aircraft valve itself. That doesn't ring a bell, so I need to look at that more specifically. There could be some other aspects which are not related to the product itself.
So, final question, would anyone in the room like to make an offer? Okay, if not, thank you very much.